I'm Brenna Gibbons, and I'm here at the KTXS station where Sunday night storms brought 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. As you can see, the roof of our garage has caved in over the live van, and our broadcast tower has collapsed over the station. KTXS meteorologist Kaden Dinkins was at the station and says the experience was unimaginable.
This is just absolutely insane. Our station is just completely ruined. Oh my God. Quite literally, our studio roof was ripped off of the hinges, if you will. The studio roof just flew off right above me and our chief meteorologist, Mark Rowlett, as we were trying to take cover kind of from an unexpected situation.
Kaden was outside watching the storm moments before the destruction occurred.
You don't ever expect to experience something like that. The power went out in the studio and the whole entire station, and we're walking back into the studio, and you just feel this almost suction kind of taking you with these winds as this roof is pulling off. My ears popped. I felt like I was gravitating towards that area that was opening, and me and Mark, just all we could do was take cover and hope for the best.
She told us she couldn't even comprehend what she was seeing.
It's pitch black dark. You're walking in and you're just hearing things, and you go and see it in the daylight, and like I said, it's not something you can even imagine. Your whole workplace, the place we love, the place where we do what we love to do, is completely destroyed.
She said there were so many loud sounds that it was hard to make out what was happening.
Towers falling, roofs ripping off, bricks crumbling down in our garage. So we're just extremely lucky to be here completely unharmed, not even a scratch on my body, even though there was things flying around us, debris all over the studio, water pouring in, like just unimaginable situation.
KTXS will continue to update our web and socials with more information as we get it. Good evening, I'm Brenna Gibbons. I'm here with Mark Rella and Kaden Dinkins. Last night, storms with wind gusts of 80 miles per hour hit the KTXS station, caused a lot of damage, and they were actually in the studio when the roof flew off. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, well, let Kaden tell us how she was outside actually making a YouTube video.
Yeah, so of course we're doing our duty, trying to, inform our viewers, and I hear the wind start picking up. I was expecting to see some hail. I go outside to our side garage that is now fully collapsed in, and I'm taking a video. You start to see the winds kind of swirling around, and all of a sudden the power goes out. And as the power is going out, I start to head back to the station, and as we're heading back to the station, I see Mark looking up to the roof, and our roof is peeling quite literally off right in front of our eyes, and we just take cover as fast as we can.
Yeah, I had gone back to make a Keurig coffee.
Yep.
And that end of the building actually has a separate power delivery. And so that end of the building flickered and went out. So I wasn't going to get my coffee. So I come back to the studio, which is on this end of the building, and I feel pressure against us. I think you said you felt that too. And I'm going into the studio door, and the door is already open from something. And so I go into the studio, and I still feel that pressure, and it's just more and more, and I'm used to hearing roars when the wind is like 40 miles an hour or higher. Well, this was the loudest roar I'd ever heard, and I knew this was not going to be good. And as you mentioned, about that time, the ceiling, we have a suspended ceiling over the studio, and those tiles begin to fall. And so you said, get down. And so we both got down and laid against the desk that is the weather center, and let the tiles fall.
The only area where the roof is quite literally ripped off in the station.
And to that, the tiles fall, and then pretty soon we start feeling rain. And so you kind of know that the roof is gone.
Yes. And to Mark's point too, there's a lot of things that he may have caught that I didn't. It was such a quick moment. I would say probably less than a minute all of this happened at one time, and he heard the roars. What I noticed the most was my ears popped, and then all of a sudden I could feel that pressure. It felt like we were gravitating towards the area that was being pulled, where the roof was being pulled off again, which was just right on top of us.
Yeah. And so the lights obviously go out, and so when we kind of sense that it's, well, maybe it's safe to get off the floor, The only light we had was the monitors for the weather computers because all the lights were off, but those were on a battery backup. Because I was thinking this morning, how were we able to see? Well, it was the monitors for the computers. And so then we got our phones out, and like we all do with the flashlight on the phone, and made our way through the studio to find the newsroom, which actually had an emergency light in there. So we kind of went to the light, and there's water pouring into the hallway. Yeah, and pretty soon the newsroom had an inch of water in it.
Still does. Probably still probably has an inch of water in it now, and we thought maybe a pipe burst, but come to find out it was quite literally the rain that was on top of all of us.
And I think what happened is clearly the tower, we kind of forgot about that. The tower, which is on the back side of the building, it's 199 feet tall. Well, it decided to not resist the wind. And here we have it laying in the front yard. Well, that fell on the roof, so it obviously did some roof damage. It is pouring down rain, and so that rain is now pouring into the building. And so the broken pipe, I thought, was actually the pouring rain coming into the damaged roof because of the tower.
And when this was happening, what was going through your minds? Was there ever a moment you thought that you were going to die during all of this?
I wouldn't say I ever thought. I mean, I think my life flashed before my eyes. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And like I mentioned earlier, it just happened so incredibly quick. The power went out when I was in the garage, and by the time we were getting back into the studio, the roof was ripping off, and the garage had probably collapsed behind me. So we didn't have really any time to think besides looking up and thinking, okay, we need to get onto the ground and not hopefully get sucked anywhere else into the building.
And I think you were more in the danger zone because you had come through the garage that collapsed.
Yeah, not thinking about it, and it's still just unimaginable.
But who thought?
Right. It was kind of, it took us by a little bit of a surprise. We've been tracking these storms for several hours, almost 7 hours at this point. We had just gotten off of live TV. We went to go take a second for ourselves, and to kind of regroup, and it gets you, and
we
you
had
least expect
warnings,
it.
as you mentioned, for 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds, and those are not constant the whole time. Most of the time, they'll go down, and then here comes a little storm, but that storm packs a big punch. And then here comes this storm, which really didn't look all that impressive compared to what we had already seen, and then it comes right across, and then boom, it decides just to punch us.
Yeah, we were just right place, wrong time, I guess, or wrong time, right place. I don't even know what the saying would be, but it definitely came down when we weren't expecting it. That's for sure.
Sure. And like I said, we had been warning people, and but for 7 hours you can't hide.
Right. Yeah. What was your thoughts through this?
It happened so fast. I really didn't think about it. At that point, you're just responding.
Yeah.
Almost like a car wreck or something.
Yeah.
Here it is. You just have to respond.
Right. I keep, and anybody who has been asking me throughout the day, I don't even remember us saying anything.
I remember you saying, "Get down."
Well, and I don't remember that at all. Yeah. I don't remember it at all. I remember just getting down, and I think I don't remember saying much besides
and then
making sure we get up.
I got a little bit safe. You said, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, are you okay?"
Yeah.
And then we helped each. I think you helped me up.
Yes, we helped. We had tiles, or the ceiling tiles.
Yeah,
we're on
we're
top
taking,
of us.
Ceiling tiles and
yeah,
pushing them away.
It's pushing them away.
Which is a better thing than other
metal.
things that
Yes,
can fall
yes.
on you.
I just can't stress enough just how fortunate we were.
When I went home and I took off my suit, there's all these white marks on it. I was like, where did I get that? Oh, that's the ceiling tiles.
Yeah, I wonder what just happened, but it's crazy, a crazy night, but we're definitely thankful for
and
the
to
last.
Talk about the rest of the station. There were 6 of us in the station.
Yep.
And thankfully, everybody was okay.
Yes, everybody.
I don't recommend going through this,
No.
if you just have a minute to, you're bored. But, everybody was okay. And we all kind of got together, and then we called our people and let them know what had happened. And people started showing up. In fact, we've got people here from our corporate today helping to get us back on. They're working very hard to get us back on. At this time, as we're recording this, we're still not on the air because that tower is how we had equipment that got us on the air, and they're working to, work around that.
Yeah, and I think we could just be in good spirits and, look back on it and kind of, keep the happy thoughts and maybe, you know, laugh about it here and there. Of course, it's not a funny situation at all, but, you know, so we can handle it that way. And it's just because we've been surrounded by a community around us, but also our team helping every step of the way. So couldn't do without that, that's for sure.
Well, and it reminds you, you know, you can fix things.
Right.
You can't fix people.
Absolutely not.
And so the important thing came through.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if you are curious and wanting to drive by the KTXS station, it is best not to right now. It is unsafe. The building is falling apart, as we were talking about, so please try to keep your distance from the building during this time.
And we are going to keep updating on social media, our webpage. We still have access to that. It's just that, well, the tower is keeping us from getting on the air, and we're working to get back on the cable. So we have plans, and we're going to get back to you.
Things are moving. Just, I think right now it's hour by hour instead of day by day. Eventually it will be day by day, and we'll keep moving forward the best we can. But as always, stay weather aware.
And download the KTXS weather app.
Yes, we'll make sure you stay safe over the next few days with weather continuing. But everybody stay safe. We appreciate you all and all the kind words you've given us over the past, I don't even know if it's been 24 hours yet.
No.
Not quite. We're almost there, but we just appreciate it all.
Yeah.
The KTXS news station is still facing extensive damage after severe storms tore through the building late Sunday night. Insurance adjusters and professionals from the city of Abilene have been in and out of the building all morning. Showing them around the damage is David Osmo, the Senior Regional Engineering Director for Sinclair Broadcast Group, who will help determine the building's fate. He says now the main thing to decide is if the station will rebuild or if they'll build something new. However, he clarified it's still too early to tell. As for now, there's still more equipment to rescue from the building, as storms later in the week could cause even more damage. Osmo encourages employees and the community to stay away from the unstable building.
There's a distinct danger in the building. There's a possibility of additional wall collapse, especially when we have additional rain and wind coming. Who knows what else that could blow loose. It's not a safe place to be at the present time. We're operating very carefully, very mindfully while we're in those affected areas.
I'm Tori Garcia. Behind me, you can see just some of the damage caused by Sunday night's strong storms. And the National Weather Service in San Angelo is still surveying the Abilene area to determine whether this destruction was caused by strong winds or something much greater.
I can't describe what it sounded like. I can tell you what I felt. I mean, it was like a boom, like a bomb or something went off, and it shook the house.
Severe storms ripped through Abilene and surrounding counties Sunday night, leaving behind a trail of destruction, downed trees, and widespread power outages. The National Weather Service says wind gusts topped out between 70 to 90 miles per hour across parts of the big country, hitting areas like Fisher and Jones County especially hard.
Put a nice little, it pushed my refrigerator in, whatever it was. It knocked a hole on the inside of the house.
In Abilene, damage was widespread, but one of the hardest hit buildings was the KTXS news station itself. The roof partially collapsed and the station's tower was bent in half by the wind.
Well, I'm seeing some pretty severe damage to this building. Right now, we're still trying to determine if it's straight line wind or tornado damage.
While the damage to the station was drastic, the Weather Service says more surveys are underway across the city.
From what I've seen so far, this is the most badly damaged part of at least Abilene that we've visited so far, but we still have to visit some other parts of the city.
The atmosphere Sunday night was primed for chaos. Harrison says it was set up for hurricane force straight line winds and possibly a tornado.
Yesterday we had some really severe thunderstorms that moved through the area. It was an atmosphere that was very conducive to very strong straight line winds. We were advertising hurricane force type wind event from these storms that were going to move through the big country region.
Cleanup and recovery efforts are in full swing here in Abilene, and the National Weather Service of San Angelo hopes to release its official survey data soon.
Hello everybody, as you can see, or watched, our morning show is a little bit different here this morning, and that's because we had quite a bit of damage occur at the KTXS news station, and you can see a lot of the extent here just behind us. This is our garage, which then backs up into our studio where part of the roof flew off. Mark and I were here last night covering these storms.
Sunday
night.
We're debating about 11:13 is what we're settling on. Severe winds came in. This is the damage you see, and this is not all of it, but this is some of the significant damage. And the real problem is it took down our tower, which communicates with the transmitter tower, and that's why we're unable right now to get a signal over the air to you, and it's also messing up our cable delivery at this time. But we have folks that have come in from corporate stations in this area. National people are on the plane to come in today and help us get back on the air.
Yeah, we don't have a timeline. It's going to be day by day as of right now. We're doing our best to, even put anything out on the air for you guys. But just know everyone is okay. We are safe from storms that occurred Sunday evening. Our building is deemed unsafe as of now, so we are working on ways to work around it. We'll continue to keep you updated on social media for sure, all of our other platforms that we could possibly use. Just remember always, severe weather, it comes at unexpected times.
Yes, and it was very unexpected. We've been tracking storms all evening. This is like the fourth storm that hit Abilene, and we knew it was going to be strong, but not this strong.
Right.
It just hit us hard, and you could see what it did to us. And that truck right there, we might have been able to get back out and get us back on the air, but you can see we can't get to it. So they've had to bring in another truck to try to get us back on the air.
Yeah, lots of moving pieces and parts here for the next, coming weeks, months. Again, we're not sure. We're coming to you as much as we know, as honest.
I think it's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah,
we have a lot of people that are here. There's equipment that's here. We're just assessing what kind of computers were damaged because they've got water on computers and those don't get along very well.
Yeah, no water on computers. Lots of flooding across the area, that's for sure. Lots of damage. Again, we can't necessarily go back into the building. There's still some chances for some weather over the next few days, so we'll continue to be tracking that as best we can with, on our cell phones, the KTXS weather app that will give you all the alerts you can use. Our KTXS.com will have alerts. And we'll have our socials
have other
as well.
stations are going to be pitching in to help fill in some of the gaps and everything. But rest assured, we're working very hard to get you back to full speed.
Yeah, we're thankful for the community we have around here. Please be patient with us over the next few days or however long it takes us. But thanks for joining us.
On Sunday night, the KTXS station was hit by severe weather that left much of our equipment and resources destroyed. Abilene Christian University stepped in and they're letting us use their state-of-the-art facilities. The journalism department head says having KTXS here at ACU is a full circle moment.
Many of the students that we have that are professionals in large markets started their careers at KTXS, and so for us, we want to be able to help because we also know KTXS helps us.
Kenneth Pybus says he didn't think twice when he saw the station in need.
It was definitely a no-brainer. I was very happy to help.
Some KTXS employees are actually ACU alumni.
It's neat. I've been out to the studio at KTXS. I've taken students there and shown them around the facility, and so it's kind of funny to have former students come back here and to work for KTXS.
Pybus says when you share the same values, you're really all on the same team, and what matters is keeping the community informed.
I'd already seen on Facebook the damage to the studio, and already was feeling bad for KTXS, and so when Will called, I was very happy to offer our studio and to offer our space. We're in the same business. We're all about serving the community, all about making sure people in the community know what's going on, and so I was happy to be able to help.
Sunday night's storm left our broadcast tower in pieces and our building flooded and unsafe. But the show must go on. ACU has a state-of-the-art facility where our reporters and crew are working.
We have the ACU TV studio where we shoot live game day production. We do halftime shows in here. We do interviews, and much of our stuff, much of the things that we produce go out over ESPN Plus during a football game or during a basketball game.
Pybus says while there's no good time for something tragic to happen, this is a slow season for the university, so they're happy to lend a helping hand.
So we don't have a lot going on in the studio during the summer. We have students that are in and out of this room during the semester every day. But it's kind of perfect timing for us to be able to offer the studio to KTXS because nothing's going on right now.
We're taking things day by day, and right now there's not a timeline for if and when our building will be restored.